Hi, Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist here and spiritual teacher. There's a great disease afflicting our children these days. It's a group of people in Africa, and they know Kruger Park. They have a huge park, but they're starting another park, and so they are taking and translocating a lot of animals to that park, and especially the elephants. And they were taking a whole bunch of these elephants and moving them over to this other new park. And so they were collecting young young adult elephants, males and females, and then moving them over to this other place. And everything was going fine. And then they noticed after a while that the young, especially the males, and even some of the females, especially the males, were starting to get hugely angry and taking their anger out on just about every animal there was there, especially the rhinoceroses and the hippopotamus and all those different animals. They've killed about 100 rhinos, going crazy. And I presume that it has something to do with the fact that these are a family groups of animals that need to learn from one another. And that was powerful. Wow, look at that. They didn't have the parental guidance around them to learn. You don't pick on a hippopotamus. A hippopotamus is pretty powerful, and they had some of these animals that were getting hurt because of the hippos, and they were killing the rhinos. So we need parental guidance. And that just struck me, it's like that's exactly what's going on with a lot of our children. We have people who, families are torn apart. We have people whose parents are on drugs and are on alcohol. They're in fear all the time. They don't do anything. All kinds of dysfunction that's going on. Parents in prison, parents who have left, all these type of things, and then the children are left to kind of deal without having that parental guidance, and a lot of them go into anger, just like the elephants are, and they end up getting in big trouble, just like the elephants, And some of these elephants are having to do some hard decisions with them because they're really killing a lot of other animals. But what do we do with our own children? That's why it's so important to have, parental guidance at all times. When I was growing up, I probably wouldn't even be here. First of all, if my mom and dad weren't around to guide me. I remember that time we tried to fly the, lawnmower off the roof, and my mom caught us, and that was the end of that. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here in front of you right now. We do a lot of crazy things when we're young, or think about it, and we get caught by our parents, and we said, nope, you can't do that. This is what you should be doing. Be a little more peaceful. You can't go out and do that. So we need to have that parental guidance at all times. And how do we do that? How do we achieve that? I think that we have to achieve a change in our society in general, for the world. And we are coming upon a global consciousness which is raising, that understands that we are not the only sentient beings on this planet at all, and we have to heal our beings, our human beings on this planet, and we have to take that one person at a time and deal with that, and help people to overcome their challenges that they have. Every challenge that anybody else has, it's also our challenge. And we tend to forget about that because, we have food to eat, we have somewhere to sleep, on and on and on, yada, yada, yada. But we forget that we are one consciousness, and if we don't take care of our brother, we are impinged by that. And, this lack of ease or dis-ease that's going on in the world creates wars, creates havoc, and people going crazy and being angry and just being like the elephant. So we need to step up and allow ourselves to make a big change here. And I believe we're not the only sentient beings on this planet. Just think about dolphins, you know what I mean? My wife and I went one time and we swam with dolphins, and it was one of the most healing experiences I've ever been through. They want to come close to you. And there are certain beaches in particular parts of the earth that where they come and gather with people, and they're not in pens or anything, and they just want to hang out with people. And they want to play, and I think that's very interesting. And they have their sonar devices, and they are not only seeing the outside of you, they are seeing the inside of you also, and they know what emotions that you're putting out. And I think a lot of times they are trying to heal our outer emotions, and that's what we need to do with our children, is to heal our outer emotions. And a lot of times they also know that we have some, dis-ease in one of our organs that's going on. And you find people who have certain kinds of afflictions that are healed when they swim and they are interacting with dolphins. And this has been a long-standing thing that people understand that swimming with dolphins is very, very powerful. Even little kids with autism, it really makes a big change in them. It's even been people who were alcoholics and drug addicts that swam with dolphins, and all of a sudden they just gave up in their addictions. And that's pretty amazing. I don't know if it happens all the time, but it has happened. There's no doubt about it. Also, they see, if you have liver disease or something going on, and they are able to interact with that. And why that is and why people have these amazing healings, I don't know. But I think what we are probably not the most powerful sentient beings. Maybe the dolphin is probably a little more smarter than we are. Just maybe. They try to protect and help people on a regular basis. Then they help and protect other beings on a regular basis. I think it's very interesting. Also, the whales at the same time, very powerful, very wise, I think, beings in general. Also, all of our pets and all the animals in the world, they all have an extrasensory perception. They know when things like earthquakes are going to happen. They even know when the master is going to come home. In fact, there's a person in the UK has done a lot of studies showing that when a person's master maybe is in the United States, and when they go to get on the plane, the dog goes and sits in front of the door at that exact same moment. I mean, how can that be even attained? That's not even possible to even know. All of a sudden, they get on the plane, and all of a sudden, the dog's sitting in front of the door. And they don't know anything about it. It's not a regular routine. And even our dogs, pretty amazing that they know when dinner time is by the minute, I'm telling you. They know when they're supposed to have breakfast by the minute. It's absolutely uncanny. And so all these dogs, they know exactly when their master's coming home. One particular case, a person worked out of town 5 days a week, and he would come home on the weekends, actually on Friday night, and usually about 6 o'clock, but he decided to come home a day early, and all of a sudden the dog, was sitting in front of the door on Thursday night instead of Friday night, and he knew his master was coming home. Is that very interesting? And his wife was watching this and going, wow. And so very, very interesting. They know more than we know. Also, the case of a little dog who all of a sudden started going kind of crazy, a little silky terrier kind of dog, and he was running around, and you just could not settle at all. And this happened for a couple of days, and then the grandmother goes, something is about to happen. Something is about to happen. And so she said, let's move the furniture to the sides and open the door, and in case something happens. And lo and behold, that same night, there was an earthquake, and they had a clear path to get to the door, and the dog went out, they went out, and then the second earthquake actually destroyed the building completely. So, and they were really happy that they took notice of what the dog was trying to tell them, that something is about to happen. There's no doubt about it. So they have an extrasensory ability to let us know something is going to happen, especially earthquakes. They say that first the fish in the ocean know about it first, and then the land beings like dogs and cats and all the animals, and then the birds. All of a sudden, they tend to figure it out also. So very interesting communication there. Also, the one particular dog I think is very interesting. His owner just sets him down and has the dog look at a particular person. All of a sudden, the person just drops off asleep. I think it's the dog puts that person into a hypnotic trance, and they don't know why. And this has been done thousands upon thousands. It's a Labrador Retriever, black lab, a big kind of husky black lab, and he just looks at you. And all of a sudden, you see women, children, everybody just kind of... He also has another thing, too. Sometimes he'll communicate to that person, I want your lunch, and they'll give their lunch to him. Don't tell our dogs about that. Whatever you do, don't tell our dogs. That would not be good. So all of a sudden they start giving their lunch to that dog. And it was like, wow, this is interesting. But they don't understand why this is happening. Very interesting. But we have this animal communication, this ability to connect with us on a wavelength which probably goes back to the beginnings of time. And this ether, with the Hadron Collider, they're looking at all the different dimensions and all the different, energy forms and that type of thing. There is a lot going on that we have no clue about. And so there is some kind of telepathy or some kind of energy form that is transmitted from one to another to allow everyone to know something is about to happen. And so we have that ability. We've kind of pushed it all down because, we believe in science and we believe in all this, strict regimen of this and that. But we've kind of forgotten about what we know deep down in our heart. And that is super important. I'll pick somebody with a gut feeling first over science any day. There's no doubt about it. I've seen gut feelings save people's lives. In fact, I know a person that was going to get on a plane, and I said, I don't think this is a good idea. And lo and behold, that plane had a little bit of an accident when it was on the runway coming and landing. Everybody survived, but that was just something I had a gut feeling about. There was just something wrong about what was going on. And when I have that gut feeling, I know that I have to listen to it and communicate that to other people so that they can make a decision based on what they decide they want to do. And not everybody takes it in. You can tell people about what you have a gut feeling about, but it's up to them to make that decision and move forward. So we have the ability to take and heal the dis-ease in our children. Every one of us does. We can actually start parenting in a wise way, and we can be more present with our children. We can take time for our children and take time for us. First of all, we got to be present for us. Otherwise, we can't be present for anybody else. And I think a lot of people also need to have a little more self-confidence in themselves in order to let go of the fear. Fear is the opposite of love. And when we have self-confidence, we can love ourselves, and then we can look ourselves in the mirror and say, I like you. I love you. I will take care of you. I'll always be here for you. And I'm not going to leave you no matter what. And I think that's really important. A lot of people have this fear that people are going to leave them all the time. And it's really important that we know that that person really is there for us, that we look in the mirror and see in their eyes that they're never going to leave us no matter what happens in this lifetime. And we ought to be appreciative to Great Spirit, God, and the universe that we have this chance to learn and love and to create a powerful, wonderful life. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you'd like to get a hold of me for spiritual things or for herbal things, my phone number is 831-869-9119, 831-869-9119. And I'm on the East Coast time. And I go to bed about 8 p.m., so before the chicken, so call early. Also, my email address is drpaulhaider, that's drpaulhaider @gmail.com. That's drpaulhaider@gmail.com. And my Skype address is drpaulhaider also. Send me an invite. All my consultations are free and would love to help you in any way, shape, or form. And you can go to my Facebook page under Dr. Paul Haider and message me at the top also. That's another great way to get a hold of me. I'll try to get back to you within minutes. If I'm sleeping, you got to wait for the next day. And if you're outside the U.S. And the territories, please email me. You can also WhatsApp me. You can text me. You can whatever you need to do to get a hold of me. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, remember, if you watch the little ads that are there, that we greatly appreciate that. It brings a couple cents our direction. Also, if you'd like to make a donation, and if you want to have me become your mentor for $20, $30 a month, you can do that on PayPal, make it a monthly donation. I'll work with you whatever way, shape, or form to have me be a mentor for you in your process of living life. And if you want to make a one-time donation, that's great too. You can go to my webpage, paulhaider.com, www.paulhaider.com, and do that. And I'll help you in any way I can. But the most important thing is, just is one thing. Remember, I love you.